Welcome back to the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or to sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many homeowners consider renting out a home they need to move out of instead of selling. The rental business is heating up with investors buying up as many rentals as they can. What are some of the pros and cons of selling the home versus renting that home?
Well, it's funny, whenever I bring up this topic with home sellers, they almost cringe with fear, like, oh my God, that's just scary, which I get it, but you have to have a different mindset. Tenants don't love the home like you do. They just want a place to live. They won't take care of it like you do. You have to plan. And I have experience buying rental homes. I own one right now. I got rid of some years ago, but it's funny. I was in the neighborhood last week and I'm like, I wish I kept that house. It's probably doubled from what I paid for it. More than that. But anyway, there are a lot of factors to consider if you're planning on keeping your home as a rental versus not. And what's going on right now is there's a huge increase in the amount of investors purchasing buy and hold real estate in this market. The average price for a home right now is $539,000. It's interesting. Last year, the top selling agent in this market was somebody representing just one investor buying single family homes to rent out. And that his investor bought 383 homes. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like a business. But why? Why are they buying? Well, they're buying because it's basically an asset, a place where they can deploy their investment dollars and have it pay you back. It's an income producing asset. It's not just the appreciation, it's the money that they make on deploying that cash. So last year, the prices went up depending on what month you looked at it, 23 to 25%. This year, they're predicting the market values to go up about 15%. So it makes sense to buy an investment like that basically beats inflation. The other factors as to why investors are buying is they are not as interest rate sensitive as somebody that has to pay an interest rate and get a mortgage. And they're buying a hard asset that over the long term goes up in value with steady appreciation. It produces income. People need housing. There's a rising population, and they don't have to worry about that investment being subject to all the crazy stock market emotional fluctuations that we see month after month. So what does a homeowner need to consider if they are going to keep their home and rent it out versus actually sell it? So if they need the net proceeds from the sale, and if there's no experience being a landlord, and or if they're moving to another state, I would just sell it and take your proceeds and move on. I don't think I would want to deal with an out-of-state rental, because even though you may hire a property manager, they may or may not, look it over as best as you can expect. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Colorado. I've helped thousands of home sellers command top dollar for their homes. And let's talk about whether or not you need your equity out of your home. There are some other options. One of the options is to maybe pull a home equity line or do like a bridge loan to get money out of your existing home to move to be able to put down on your current home. In most cases, the lenders will require you to qualify for both payments, but there are exceptions to that. Or what some people try to do is what's called a contingent sale. I'm getting more and more offers of buyers making contingent sales on my listings. What does that mean? It means, hey, Mr. Seller, I want to buy your home, but it's contingent on me selling my existing home. And some of the stuff I get from other agents is crazy. Like, okay, but my existing home is not on the market, but don't worry, it'll be cash when it closes. But the problem is you have to worry about their buyer and then whether or not their buyer has a house to sell. So there could be this domino effect that you really have to have somebody that is paying attention to what's going on, looks at that other contract. If their home is under contract, it might be okay to accept a contingent sale, but you're still on pins and needles and you really can't make a move out of your house unless you know the whole deal is 100% firm. So there's some landmines to what I call the ultimate catch-22, having to sell a home before you buy your next home. But we actually have, and we're in the process of gaining more exclusive access to cash buyers. These are these investors that are buying buy and hold real estate. And they make all cash offers. In many cases, you can move when you want. They may do an inspection, but they're not asking for a whole lot. They just want the home to be basically broom cleaned, move-in ready. And if you're interested in getting a cash offer on your home and you don't want to deal with all the real estate agents traipsing through your house, or real estate agents kind of beating you up on pricing and inspection items, which is commonly what happens, give us a call at 719-301-3900. And there's another aspect, which is the legal aspect of owning real estate. When you turn it into a rental property, it becomes basically a business. So you can rent it out for 2 of the last 5 years and not have to worry about capital gains. However, you have to make sure your lease agreements are squared away. Some things that can go wrong are, what if they decide to grow marijuana in your house? It's legal in Colorado. Did you know that?
It is, and it's a real concern.
Yeah, because people will do that. If it's not in your lease, if it's not written down, then you can't really enforce it, right? And the problem with marijuana is, first of all, it stinks up the house. It makes it smell like a skunk.
Yep.
There could be issues with mold, but if you don't have it articulated in your written lease, then you don't have any right to evict them over that. And then there's the medical marijuana thing, where I need this for medical purposes kind of thing. Of course, it's all over. You could buy it. You don't have to grow it in the house. But I was in a house years ago that was a bank-owned home that I listed, and it was clearly a grow house. It looked like it had been busted. It was really interesting. When we first went into it, there were still pots it had big great room with wood floors. It had 3 bedrooms on the main level. The bedrooms had carpet, and all of the windows were sealed up with black plastic bags.
Oh, God.
So that they could keep the moisture in. And they had on the kitchen counter, they had these marijuana plants. It looked like somebody came in and just hacked it off.
Jeez.
So I wondered if there was a bust. It's not hard for the ATF guys to figure it out. They just go down to the utility company and look at all the power being used in a property. In the unfinished basement, I counted probably 50 electrical outlets in the unfinished basement. So obviously they were just growing like crazy down there. And the concrete was pockmarked, because they were just running water over the concrete in the basement. The asset manager actually freshened it up, replaced the carpet and painted, but you could still smell that skunk smell when we put it on the market. So you could inherit problems from tenants that could cost thousands of dollars, way above security deposits, and be stuck with having to deal with that after they move out. Also, how do you handle their security deposits? It technically is other people's money. How you handle repairs, how you maintain it, how do you evict them? And what if they don't leave? That's a problem. So there's all kind. I remember one time I was back when I did property management, which I did it very lightly, and it wasn't my area of expertise. We had somebody living in the home that was essentially a squatter, and the day of eviction was an awful day. They were still there, and they ran to the house next door that was condemned or something like that. So the police officer arrested that guy. Turned out he was wanted for murder. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is my worst real estate day of my life. I never want to do this again. So it can be bad. So if you are thinking of moving and you want to know your options. What are your options of selling your home? Do you want to sell it via the traditional means, or maybe non-traditional with a cash offer, or do you want to rent it? Well, we'll be happy to talk to you. We have solutions. You can go to barbhasthebuyers.com or call us at 719-301-3900. Richard?
And that's the deal. I want somebody representing me who's been through some of these issues before, squatters in a grow house, etc. Not somebody who does it 2 or 3 times per year. And this is the first time they've ever had to deal with something like this. That's why Barb Schlinker, Your Home Sold Guaranteed, is the person. That's who we're talking with. It's the Real Estate Voice Show. You can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, what are some other issues that home sellers should consider when deciding whether or not to sell a home or whether to rent it out?
Well, you want to make sure that you treat it like a business. So you have to raise rents periodically. If you don't, there's no reason for them to leave. I actually knew a client that never raised the rent on this couple. And then finally it reached a point where they couldn't pay rent. So they had to get them out. They had to go find a place to live. Everything else was a lot more expensive. So it was harder to get them out. You just have to treat it like a business. And you want to look at rent rates in the area. They are high. Apartments are 1,800, single family homes are 2,400. You want to make sure that you're keeping up with the maintenance. You need a cash buffer for Murphy, furnace goes out, whatever. You got to be ready for those kind of things. Tenants are, from my experience, tenants are not very good at taking care of landscaping, plumbing, mechanical systems, and following the neighborhood rules. So you have to make sure they're well briefed, and your lease includes those things as well. And then managing emergencies. How do you manage those? What is an emergency? I had a tenant call me one time. Oh my God, the disposal's backed up. It doesn't work. So I sent a plumber out there, and they'd actually stuck a penny in the disposal in the kitchen. So it's just, it's not, those are not fun things. And actually, there are insurance policies that you can buy in case they trash the house. So if you're interested in something like that, give us a call. We'll be happy to share it with you, because the security deposit typically is only about 1% of the rent rate. And believe me, they can do a lot more damage. Then you have to worry about tax consequences, which if you have lived in it 2 of the last 5 years, you're okay. But beyond that, you would have to pay capital gains on the profit of the home. Some people use what's called a 1031 exchange, which is a way to buy your next investment property and not pay the taxes at this time. It's a very complicated process, and if you would like a referral on who does that, we'd be happy to help you with that. So if you want more information, we're offering a no-cost consultation, whether you rent or sell. You can either visit barbhasthebuyers.com or call us at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker, the Real Estate Voice. And again, if you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most amount of money out of it, call Barb 719-301-3900. Or as always, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the magic of pricing your home to get the very top dollar. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss that.